Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. Man, we got to talk about this coach Deion Primetime Sanders' effect on not only Boulder, Colorado, the University of Colorado, the state of Colorado, but across the entire country. This is one guy that has completely galvanized the entire country together. Black, white, he is crossing the borders of race, religion. This is a gentleman who's played football his entire life. Was one of the few guys, if anybody remembers, who potentially never came off the field. Deion could be considered the greatest football player ever. Think about it. He played defense, cornerback, wide receiver, and returned punts. So he played offense, defense, and special teams. And he was a Major League Baseball player. So this is a guy who has a PhD in sports. But I think the real beauty in Coach Primetime is that he has a PhD in common sense and life skills, in being a leader, being a motivator, being a mentor. And he started displaying that with coaching his kids in Dallas, and many of the kids that played for him as peewee football players. And then he went on to go to Jackson State. Now remember, this is a gentleman who has two pensions. He played 14 years in the NFL, first ballot Hall of Famer, and played at least 10 years in Major League Baseball. He's got two pensions, made tons of money in endorsements, put out a couple of rap albums. So he could have rested on his laurels and never did anything after he retired from sports. But he has a passion. He says he has a voice from God that he wants to give back to these young people. And it's been a beautiful experience. He went on to go to Jackson State, which is an 87%, Jackson, Mississippi, 87% black community. HBCU, the SWAC. He brought tons of attention to the SWAC, to Jackson State. Brought in 5-star football players that have never been done. I mean, every part of Deion's life, he has set a precedent. Deion has a Mohammed Ali spirit, first of his kind, one in a million. And he can pontificate, preach, and teach all these skills on the football field and in life. I don't think there's another player in the NFL or that has been in the NFL that could do this. Jerry Rice. He doesn't have the greatest personality in the world, or articulating, or galvanizing or motivating individuals. Kind of a soft-spoken guy. Emmitt Smith, very soft-spoken guy. Michael Irvin kind of has his spirit. Michael Irvin can be a little rough on the edges. Warren Sapp is another one. I don't think he completely has that imagery or is completely fine-tuned the way Deion can get black, white, red, blue, green, whatever color in the hue to come together. Who else? The great linebacker Ray Lewis. He probably is the closest person as far as leadership skills, motivation, being one of the greatest linebackers of all time, who could come close to Deion. But there's still a roughness to Ray. Deion is the one guy out of all the NFL players that are alive today that I think can articulate, can represent black men as a whole, even with his sunglasses and his gold chains. Deion is the perfect person to do what he's doing. He is changing the complete narrative and shaking up the basket for what a college Division I football coach looks like. Look at all the attention he brought to Jackson State. They had new uniforms. Look at the money he brought into the city of Jackson, Mississippi. The Jackson State University. Enrollment went up. Television rights. The amount of money that he was able to funnel to that institution. Deion has a following that's very similar to a Muhammad Ali and a Martin Luther King. And we need to talk about that with all the crazy denigrating, the gun violence, the senseless killings that are taking over all across our urban cities. We have a black man that has come here and is doing great things. He's like Moses. He's going to save his people. Is biblical. There's a certain spirit and energy in Coach Primetime that I've never seen since Muhammad Ali or since Martin Luther King. This is a wonderful example, especially for an African American man in his mid-50s. I'm also in my mid-50s. I basically grew up with Deion Sanders in that same era. So this is a beautiful thing. And then from Jackson State, for 3 years he was there, an all-black community, he goes on to a 99% white community in Boulder, Colorado. And can one say, and one could say that he went from all black to all white and has done the exact same thing. He's won his first 3 games. Last year they went 1-11, so he's already a winner if he doesn't win another game. He brought several players from Jackson State, and they're displaying that they could play in a Power 5. He's been saying that since day one. Travis Hunter, his son Shador, his other son. I mean, look at what he's doing. He is practicing what he's preaching, and he says that practice with a purpose. And he's teaching life skills. The things that you learn from sports you can take with you throughout your entire life. Never giving up, teamwork, having a certain spirit, communicating with others, needing each other's help. You're only as strong as your weakest link. Coach Primetime is displaying and showing all these young men how to one day become great men. All of them are not going to the NFL. Most of them won't. But Deion says he wants to prepare them to be leaders in their communities, to be great and good men, to be fire chiefs, to be police captains and police chiefs, to be doctors, to be lawyers, to be CFOs and CEOs of companies. He said that's what will bring him the most joy. And that is a beautiful thing. We need that, because definitely in the black and the urban market, with the denigration of rap music and this culture of chasing the bag and not having a faith-based spirit that we are doing today, everybody wants everything immediately. There's no delayed gratification. We want the bag today by any means necessary, no matter how deleterious it is to your spirit, your physical being, your psychological being. Deion is showing that there's a right way to be a great person, and I love it. And Deion did not get the job based on affirmative action. Look at the laws today that are taking place and how the politicians are taking advantage of our unconscious minds and our ignorance. He is showing they have abolished affirmative action. Roe versus Wade has been destroyed for women's rights. Affirmative action is gone after 50 years. And he goes from an all-black community to an all-white one in Boulder, Colorado. You can't get any more white than that. And he didn't get it through affirmative action. But what he is doing is affirmative. And I think everybody that's listening to my channel should take some of these teaching points away. And we need to reach back. I'm in my mid-50s. We need to reach back and mentor and do peer groups with these young people and show them the right way. Getting an education. Look at what he's doing to Boulder. Student enrollment is going to go up. Tourism is going to go up. Restaurants, hotels, clubs, anything that has a tourism base to it, Deion is going to have a $1 billion effect on the city of Boulder, the University of Colorado, and the state of Colorado. This is one gentleman that is galvanizing all of this together, financially, intellectually, spiritually. He's bringing black and white together. Who does that remind you of? That's Muhammad Ali. Deion walks around campus. People are raising their hands. They're applauding him. He's bringing a great positive spirit to that entire state. And the University of Colorado is going to have a wonderful effect, a positive effect, as a result of one man. That is the beauty. And we have to realize this is the most powerful tool in the world. Then this, and your spirit. You can only control one man or one woman at a time with your hands and your feet, but you can control a million with this and this. That's why vocal leaders like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, some of these spiritual leaders and individuals that know how to speak well, they can tap in to a larger group of people. You can control or get the attention of 10 million with this and with this. It's one at a time with this. And Deion is showing that. Muhammad Ali showed that. There is definitely a Muhammad Ali effect. And guess what? Muhammad Ali was a spiritual man. Guess what? When he went against the Vietnam War, everyone called him crazy. When Martin Luther King created the civil rights movement, the national media called him crazy. Crazy is a dismissive term. People thought Deion, or think Deion is crazy. Deion has shown this same narrative for the last 30 years, since 1989. Nothing has changed about Primetime. His glasses, his gold necklace, and his hat. The only thing he doesn't have is the jerry curl anymore. But Deion has been the same authentic man he's always been. And it's a wonderful scenario. Primetime is changing the entire culture in America. And it's in an educational system. He's not owning a rap label. He's not putting out a vodka. He's not the leader of some mega church. He is the leader of himself. And his spirit is exuding a presence to everyone around him. And it's exalting, it's beautiful, it's a coming together. He's creating an axiom of positivity with black and white. It's colorless. And we need to get behind Coach Primetime. He's not going to win every game. I guarantee you that. But he's winning every game of life. And that's what's important. He's teaching these young men how to win at life, how to practice with a purpose, how to manifest their truth in the right way. You can be in control of your existence today and tomorrow to a certain degree if you're doing the right thing. He's also teaching them to be a wolf, not a lamb, not a sheep. One wolf can kill 100 sheep, but be a wolf in the right direction. Use that wolfism to do something great. And Coach Primetime is doing that. There has not been another individual probably in the history of the state of Colorado that's having an immediate impact the way Coach Primetime is having. Those are the facts. Look at the numbers. They're not lying. So we need to applaud Coach Primetime. He has a faith-based philosophy. I think he could potentially end up being Coach of the Year. He is definitely the Coach of the Year in many of these black homes. We need more black positive leaders that are not entertainers, rappers, and basketball players. He's transcended himself from being an athlete and entertainer into being a philosopher of life, a philosopher of coaching, and coaching life and football. And a great example of a black man that's trying to do the right thing for all young men, white, black, red, blue, or green. This is a colorless effort that Coach Primetime is doing. He loves these kids as if they're his own. And I think we should all take a glance at this. We should pay attention. Whether he wins or loses on the football field, he is winning in life. He is a great representation. There's so many crazy things that are going on in the world with opioid addiction, the opioid crisis, homelessness, joblessness, UAW strike, writer's strike. We've got so many things that have been a problem. Gun violence, this immigrant sanctuary cities. Many of our cities are going bankrupt. The middle class is going bankrupt. We need something positive to see every week. And this is not a show that ABC or NBC has put together. It's not fantasy. This is in real life, in real time. And we should applaud this. This is going to be a one-in-a-lifetime scenario. And I think with Coach Primetime, the most appropriate way for the rest of his life should play out. He should stay at Colorado, win a national championship. He should go to Florida State, win a national championship. And the finality of it all is he should go be the head coach in his 60s for the Dallas Cowboys and win a Super Bowl. And then after that, I think Deion should be able to rest. So please, let's pray and hope that God keeps him healthy and safe. I know he's had some health problems, but we need Deion on this physical earth and continue to preach his existential philosophies and existence that will prepare all people, young men, young women, to be leaders in their communities and to do the right thing at the right time, make the right choice and the right decisions in life.